Really good fight, this one. I highlighted this with a pre-fight video where I correctly guessed that Povetkin would win, incorrectly guessed that it would be by, I thought it would be a points win. I thought Takam would be able to go the distance. First things first to say about this fight is that, it's great to see two genuine top 10 heavyweights face off against each other. My initial thought process on this one was that Povetkin would be able to win using his amateur pedigree. I said that Povetkin would have the toughness and the durability and the stamina to go deep against Takam and to get involved in a scrap and a war inside if needs be. I thought Takam had looked weak at times during the first half of the Perez fight. A few moments during the Tony Thompson fight where he could be outworked by a smart, technical boxer with that amateur pedigree. I was actually surprised at how close this fight was on the scorecards. It seemed that Takam took an early lead, and even when the fight was, stopped, it was quite close. It was the kind of scoring where, I think it was WBC scoring, where the scorecards were revealed after rounds 4 and 8. And I think Takam was generally ahead after 4, and I think after 8 it was, pretty much a draw. For me, Takam really impressed me with his boxing ability. He showed good movement, quite a quick jab, which was really effective in the early rounds. He was able to, win early rounds with the jab, and a decent defence. He kept a sort of high hand and used his shoulder as well. He looked quite tidy, Takam. Both guys possibly weren't in the leanest of conditions, and that seemed to particularly affect Takam going deep into the fight. Povetkin seemed to come on strong, whereas Takam struggled a bit for fitness. He seemed to be lowering his hands a bit, whether that was because he was tired, I don't know. He seemed to be slightly less active with the jab, and when Povetkin sensed that, he really went in for the kill and landed some outrageous hook to win the fight by knockout. It's certainly a highlight reel knockout. I think Povetkin, again, at times was slightly wild in the fight. Even when he was, winning rounds, he was throwing the kind of windmill style punches that we remember him throwing in the Klitschko fight. It wasn't the most composed boxing performance, but nevertheless it was effective. And both guys come out of this fight with some credit. I don't think Takam will go on to be an elite level heavyweight. He got beaten fair and square and stopped by Povetkin, and at times gave me cause for doubt in the Tony Thompson and Perez fights. So I think he's a solid guy. I think anyone who beats Takam is going to be a genuine top 5 heavyweight. But I don't see him making much of a campaign realistically for a world title beyond here. As for Povetkin, he's shown that he is the real deal. He genuinely is a real top fighter, and credit to him that he does take the tough fights. If we look at some of the fights he's taken on, above and beyond Klitschko, the likes of Eddie Chambers, Ruslan Chagayev, Marco Huck, now Carlos Takam, also Manuel Char. He's fought decent level of opposition. He's not one of these top 5 heavyweights, perhaps like Kubrat Pulev or Deontay Wilder, who maybe hasn't taken on top 5, top 10 heavyweights. Povetkin's been in tough fights, and he's come through them. And Klitschko aside, he wins. So respect to Povetkin. My feeling on Povetkin now, having seen this fight and having seen the way that Takam was able to win rounds, and contrasting that with the Eddie Chambers fight, and Eddie Chambers had spells where he was effective. I do think that a boxer like a Tyson Fury or maybe even a David Haye, one of those two would have the beating of Povetkin. I think Fury, with his range, with his jab, and with the versatility to his game, could have success against Povetkin in the same way Klitschko did. And I think someone like David Haye, who's described as an ambush fighter, stays on the outside, rushes in, excellent feet, excellent hand speed. Again, could cause Povetkin all sorts of problems. I think my feeling is that in terms of the level of opposition beaten and in terms of the form already on the CV, Povetkin is the strongest heavyweight outside of Vladimir Klitschko. He's been in with the best opposition and beaten the best opposition. I do think Povetkin is beatable. I think Povetkin could well lose to, as I've already said, a Tyson Fury or a David Haye. I think what you need is a durable fighter who can move, who's got speed, who's got a jab, who's fitter and more dynamic than Takam possibly, and I think they're the sort that could cause Povetkin problems. So I've mentioned Fury and Haye. I think someone like Mike Perez, if he was in shape, could potentially cause issues for Povetkin, certainly be effective. Bryant Jennings, I'm not 100% convinced on the guy, but I think, with his movement and with his fitness, he's certainly one who could ask questions of Povetkin. Whilst I'm maybe slightly critical of the opposition Kubrat Brulev's been in with, I think his sort of technical boxing, his jab, his movement, another one who, would be a very live contender in a fight with Povetkin. So, really entertaining fight. Great to see these fights happening. Povetkin goes on. It's possibly left with more questions than answers in terms of Povetkin now.